is going on, all of my tacticians, and welcome to, well, this isn't going to be one of my normal videos talking about tactics from, tactics, strategies, whatever you want from, from the current generation. Instead, I'm going to be talking about, how I did things back in my really, really, really youthful, ignorant childhood years. Yeah. So, how did I do things back in the day? How did Impy get along through Generation 1 when, Pokemon was just starting out? It was just becoming this crazy thing. And all you whippersnappers are just gonna go rolling your eyes thinking, oh man, this is gonna be an old guy talking again. Oh my lord. But look. Things have seriously changed from Generation 1 to Generation 7. So, first of all, as you can see here, you've only got like 4 different unique stats, not counting HP, because everyone's got HP. So HP isn't like the super important stat that you realize it is. You've only got 4 different stats. You've only got attack, defense, speed, and special. Now I don't know what the special stat is though. I don't understand where the special stat came into play. Thinking maybe, oh, you know what? I think it's because there were 2 different stats, special attack and physical attacks, or physical attack stats. And so everyone had these 2 stats, but they all targeted the defense stat. So it was a really, really strange way the mechanics of, special attacks and physical attack stats were back in those days. Another thing, we didn't have natures to my knowledge. Yeah, I don't think we got natures until Generation 2. Oh man, those were some crazy days. So what you're seeing here is my Zapdos. This is my Generation 1 Zapdos that I caught from my blue game. I transferred it into my, I believe I just registered it into the Pokemon Stadium game, so he's pretty much here right now. This is my Zapdos that I caught when I was a child Reshiram. So child Reshiram, Kid Reshi or Kid Impy as I believe some of the kiddies were calling him during last night's, late night stream. And it was pure offense. He had Fly because I was using Zapdos to fly around. What kid doesn't want to fly around in a Zapdos? I don't know. But he had Fly, Double Edge, Thunder, and for some reason Thunder Shock. I don't know why I kept Thunder Shock. I think it's because I forgot to teach him Thunderbolt at some point, and I didn't have the TM for Thunderbolt. I don't even think you had TMs back in those days. I think you do, but I didn't have the TM for Thunderbolt. But in any case, since most of his attacks were either special or physical, Zapdos had a pretty decent, set of attacks for back in those days. You had your decent enough physical attack here, and you have a pretty powerful special attack. Nothing to write home about. But back in those days, this was crazy stats level. And if we're gonna go over it, we're gonna go look at Mewtwo. Don't pay attention to that teleport. Don't pay attention to teleport. I don't understand why I had teleport on Mewtwo. I just completely forgot to change him or give him a different move. I was a strange kid back in those days. And I definitely knew that he had no physical power capability, so I didn't even give him a single physical attack. I gave him Swip, Psychic, Recover, and for some reason Teleport. So the reason why is because I think at some point I decided to keep Teleport simply because these were the same 4 moves that I caught him with. So I didn't give him anything else. Yeah, I'm pretty much that stupid. Look, it was back in those days. I wasn't nearly, as informative about moves, etc. I wasn't nearly concerned with stats, etc. or, abilities, etc. I wasn't concerned with those things. I was just playing the game and having a good time. Mewtwo got me through the Prime Cup. Speaking of Prime Cup, we'll check out the Prime Cup rules later because I wanted to show you just how much Generation 1 has influenced all the generations that came after. So let's look at Gyarados here. You're gonna see that. Well, first of all, I had Mimic on him. I don't know why my Gyarados learned Mimic. I think at some point he learned Mimic and I just, kept it. Didn't do anything. But I taught him Surf because he was my Pokemon that I surfed around on. Woo! Surfing Gyarados! And I gave him Hyper Beam and Dragon Rage. I was so ignorant back in those days. I thought that I thought Dragon Rage did a whole lot more damage than it did back in the day. I thought it did a whole lot more damage, but it didn't. It was still 40 even back then. As for Hyper Beam, well, YOLO Hyper Beam, alright. A lot of people just got through Generation 1 and battling through the Elite Four. They just surfed and Hyper Beamed their way to victory. That's it. That's pretty much it. Now, we're gonna go and, I'm gonna check these out. Actually, no, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna actually show you just how much Generation 1 has affected us. So, if we're gonna go towards the Prime Cup rules, there were a lot of crazy rules that we got to pick from because of these, different cups that we could enter. So, for example, the Prime Cup, we could enter with all Pokemon. We could bring in Caterpie if we wanted to. They would just be all set to level 100. If we can only enter with 6 Pokemon. We enter with 6, and we're not allowed to pick more than 3 at a time per battle. So these were the single free battle rules. These are single free battle rules you're all familiar with. And Prime Cup, etc. Pokemon Stadium really gave us these little things. So no level restrictions. All Pokemon up to level 100 may be used. I think that also means that if it's like a level 95, or it'll stay level 95, right? It doesn't automatically set it to level 100. And no 2 Pokemon frozen or asleep. This is the interesting clause that many Smogon fans will be very familiar with because, these previous cups, the little cups, the petite cups, the prime cups, etc., this is where we got so many of those rules, etc., and no self-destruct move with last Pokemon. So this is quite the interesting rule as well, because a lot of people would just use self-destruct like during the Pokemon Red and Blue games, and they would win because of it. But Pokemon Stadium implemented this rule, I believe. It has been such a long time since I played Red and Blue, that they implemented this rule that says you cannot self-destruct with your last Pokemon, because if you do, you lose regardless of your Pokemon. What? Phew! Ugh, oh my lord. All this dust from my Nintendo. Ugh. Excuse me, I'm sorry for the sneeze. But in any case, no self-destructing with this last move, because otherwise your opponent, even if it's the last Pokemon that they have and it faints, you lose regardless because you use self-destruct. That's how it was. So, they had a lot of moves or lots of rules, etc. So let's go check out something you guys might recognize, the Petit Cup. Or I think it's, the Petit Cup. So, once again, the Petite Cup. Let's look at this. I think you guys call it the Little Cup, but it was really strange. So, same thing, you enter with 6, choose 3 out of 6, single battle rules, but instead, you may use any Pokemon that are between levels 50 or 15 and 20. That was a strange rule. Another thing, your Pokemon cannot exceed the total of 50. So you can't have 6 level 20s. Like your total must be a minimum of 50. You can have lower than 50, but you can't exceed more than 50. So this is a strange set of rules, but it was really fun because you really had to think about what Pokemon you could bring, because your total levels could not exceed 50. So I believe, let's see, if it was 6 times 15. I mean, even at best, you could only pick 4 level 15s. Oh my lord, those were some strange rules. I do not understand how people got through those back in those days. Then no 2 Pokemon asleep or frozen. Yeah, you can't have 2 Pokemon asleep or frozen. Otherwise, if one Pokemon is asleep, then none of the others can be put to sleep either. Nor can they be frozen if for some strange reason. For those of you wondering, you cannot when you froze someone back in those days, it was one of the scummiest things that could have happened to you. That was just Lady Luck shining down on you and saying, nope. Because when you were frozen for eternity, people. You were frozen until the dinosaurs went extinct. Also, Mew can't attend. Back to freezing. Freezing lasted forever. Forever! Seriously, you could go 40 turns and still be frozen. Also, again, no self-destruct. So this is just a little taste of just how far, or just how much Pokemon Stadium, how much all of Generation 1 has affected all previous combinations of, or all later combinations of games. I'm just checking out some of the other things. Same thing, Pokemon levels 50 to 55 for this cup. Maximum 3 Pokemon level total 155. Actually, there's something I want to double check. Because I think I actually got one of the rules wrong here for the Petit Cup. So let me double check because now I see it. Oh, maximum 3 level total Pokemon. So 3 Pokemon's level total cannot exceed 50. So yeah, you can't have 3 Pokemon that exceed the total level of 50. So like you can have I think 4 level 15s, or you can have 6 level 15s, but you can't have 2 level 20s. That was the key. That was the ticket. You can't have 2 level 20s. Oh my goodness, these were some crazy rules back in those days. Looking back at them, I'm like, what? How did we get through these? How did we get through those days into Generation 3, etc.? Because I don't think anything changed really into Generation 2. I think we added a few new rules, but nothing really changed. It wasn't until Generation 3 and 4 that we really got into the competitive rule set. But in any case, I hope you guys all learned just a little bit about Pokemon from Generation 1 back in my day. I'm happy to be able to stream my Nintendo 64 again. I'll see you tacticians next time. Bye-bye!